Hey guys, what is going on? This is Jared and I am back with another Archbishop guide, this time featuring Exorcism Storm. Exorcism Storm is your master skill 2 that is both offensive and defensive if you learn all the skills and the passives. So you can either go for the full offensive or the full defensive. I don't think there's a middle ground because they are both different builds. So for this video, we'll be talking about the supportive Exorcism Storm. So what is Exorcism Storm? Exorcism Storm basically is a ground skill that you can release that will deal holy damage onto the targets within the area. Or if you learn the fourth skill or the third passive, you can have it heal allies and yourself while still dealing damage. So it's both damage and heals. So as you can see here, we are casting Exorcism Storm and we're dealing damage. However, we're not healing. We're taking damage, but we're not really healing any damage coming from this monster. So what we need to do is to learn the passive. So let's go through them. First passive, Exorcism Silence. When the enemy's armor attribute is not holy, damage increases by 6% and there is a 10% chance to inflict silence status on the enemy. So basically, if your target is non-holy, you get to deal more damage and you get the chance to silence the enemy. So you can max it up to level 5 and it's going to go to 50% chance to inflict silence and 30% increased damage. Second one is Rapid Strike. This one basically speeds up the frequency of your Exorcism Storm. So take note that Exorcism Storm will do damage every 2 seconds for 12 seconds. So that's a total of 6 strikes. That's a total of 6 strikes, right? If you speed it up, it's still going to be 6 strikes, but the interval will be faster and the cooldown will be lower. So this is going to speed up your cooldown as well as your damage dealt over time. But the total damage will still be the same, doing 6 pulses or doing 6 times damage. So if you max this out, this goes down to, I think, 20% cooldown and 50% reduction, which means the damage tick will be per second instead of per 2 seconds. And as we talked about the last passive, we have the healing, so it will also do healing to friendly units within the range, and it will generate another storm around the self, dealing 10% damage, and the storm is not stacked. So basically, you can only have one storm to yourself and one storm that is placed on the ground. So the one on the ground will deal more damage, but the one on yourself will also heal yourself. So you will get 2 occurrence of healing that is not reduced. So this one is really great for healing. You want to max this out if you want to go for the support type, which we will be looking into if we do want to play this skill. So let's learn this. So there we go. So now we get the healing while we are standing inside this storm. So that's what we want. And we also get the extra storm that is around ourselves. Okay, so we have some elite monsters here. Go and try and attack them. And there you go. So you can see we get 2 ticks of heals. Right? So you get insane amount of healing. You just stand there and you get insane amount of healing. So let's try to place it again. And there. This is a level 1 passive and we're doing great amount of healing, right? You're able to sustain this damage coming out of these elite monsters. So really, this is a good passive. You get to heal twice if you do stand in between your own storm or the storm that you placed on the ground. So do take note that this skill can be countered by land protection or earth field. So if you're standing on an earth field, you don't get the effects of this Exorcism Storm. Now that we've learned how it works, we are going to talk about the item build, the stat build, and some of the skills that you can use or make use of for this build. So first off, let's talk about the stat build. Here is a stat that I have for my own character because this is enough to make this skill casting to basically 0. So as you can see here, it's 10 seconds. And this is going to be hard to do because you will need a total of 300 a total amount of dex if you want to insta cast this without any casting or cast time items, right? So let's see how you can do that. So for me, I used 124 and 86 dex. So it's plus 124 and 86 dex and some casting time items. So I changed some of my int, since the int is going to be only affecting my heals and basically the heals and the SP. So I'm fine with letting that go for a bit for easy casting of my skill. So where will we be getting the other sources of cast time? So I'll share with you all the sources of cast time that you can get, and it's up to you whichever combination you would want to have. So the easiest one will be Angry Snarl. So this is, I think most utilities or most supports already have this. It gives you 10% cast time. So this is already 30 dex lower that you will be needing for you to get this instacast. Another way to get this is from your weapon. If you can get Magic 4 enchantment, that gives you 10% less cast time. So the weapon that you can have here will be Cross Staff, Advanced Survival's Rod. Cross Staff is leaning towards the healing, which you will have a lot of if you will be playing Exorcism Storm. Or you can play Advanced Survivor's Rod for more tankiness if you want to play that. Another fun weapon you can use is actually Holgerhen's Refined Hammer. This one you can have Magic 4 or Tenacity 4 again, and this will have your skills, your magic skills, damage the armor or weapon of your enemies. You have a chance to break them. So it's a fun build. You can try it. That's it for the weapon. So if you get Magic 4, that's another 30 less dex you have to think of for you to instacast Exorcism Storm. So next one is you can have is Garden's Armor or the Armor Enchant, which is you can have Magic 4. This one I think is quite easy since there is no other enchants here that you can actually get aside from resistances, HP, and damage reduction. So if you're fine with letting go some of the resistances, or maybe have Meteorite Armor with Magic 4, that also works if you are very particular with your stun resistance or your freeze resistance. So you can have that, or if you're particular with your HP, you can have Magic 4 and you're going this armor and you'll still be tanky. This is less 10%, so this is a 1 second, 1 second, and 1 second. So you're only looking into 210 total dex if you do get 3 of these items. Another one you have is your back. There's 2 items that you can use for this. I was able to get this. I'm not sure where, but I was able to get it. And there's another back item that is also helpful in cast time, which is this one. So it's either of these two if you do have them. So the Dragon Tamer one gives you 10% variable cast time, which is basically 1 second. Or you have Lifelong, which gives you 1 second less for your variable cast time. So whichever one of these you have, you can use them or equip them. So Magic Attack will also help you increase your healing. So this one is fine. So if you do have this will help you have your Exorcism Storm into insta cast. There you go. There are other ways to increase your cast time. One specific is the Sacrifice Legendary Memory 1. You can change up your first word into variable cast time 2%. So you can have 3 pieces of this, which will give you 6% or 0.6 less 0.6 seconds. So that would be less 18 dex for you to think of. And more dex you can get is from, of course, from your character jobs. So you can have 10 dex from Professor or Sorcerer and 10 dex from Sniper and Ranger. So those are ways you can speed up your Exorcism Storm. Once you've got that sorted out, your first problem of cast time is basically solved. So that's it. Now for the skill build, this is the last part. The only skill that's actually going to be very useful for you is actually Exhort. So you have to learn Exhort level 10 so you can have a chance to turn the target's armor into dark, and of course reduce their attack and magic attack by 3%, giving you more tankiness by lowering their attack. One more important thing for the build, for the skills, is Supra. You will want to have Sacrifice Ode enabled from the runes, because once you have maxed Rapid Strike, this will put down the cooldown to 8 seconds, and you will want that Sacrifice Ode to give you that extra 2 second less cooldown. This will give you 6 seconds cooldown and 6 seconds effect, because the number of strikes will be 1 per second. So it's going to be a max of 6 strikes, 1 per second once you max this out, and cooldown is going to be 8, and with sacrifice ode it's going to be 8, so it's 6-second cooldown on a 6-second effect. So that's what you want. That's what you want to have, so sacrifice ode is very important. So that's about it. You guys can explore this build for your own. I'm not really going to give you any specific that you have to learn this, you have to learn that. Yeah, you can have fun with it. You can have enormous amounts of heal by getting cross staff. You can break armors by getting the Holgren's hammer. You can be very tenacious and tanky with the survivor's rod while still healing. So there's really a lot of build that you can do. So that's basically it. I hope this helps you guys jumpstart your Exorcism Storm builds and your character, and I hope you guys have fun with it. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope this helps. See you guys next time.